Cool. Oh, we're already recording. I forgot. So cool. Fudge.
Just burning through megabytes over here, man.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And this week, Thor is here to Ragnarok our world.
Yeah, sitting on that one for a while, weren't you?
I'm pretty sure I've used it before, so whatever. They've been filming Venom for 2 weeks, Mike, and we didn't know it. So they got us. There's 10 more years of Star Wars. Woo!
Yes, and I'm sure even more.
10 more years. Yeah, and more. So yeah, we got a lot of news to cover this week, and I'm just kind of pulling stuff out left and right here.
Yeah,
trying to figure it out.
And I'm ready, man. I'm at full force here. We just recorded the review for Thor Ragnarok. I'm back after a week hiatus of being kidnapped by demons, also known as moving to a new place, which was a headache. I'm finally at that phase in my life where between my wife and I, we've collected too many things to just casually move on the weekend. We even had like a couple days padding. Like, no, we just own too much stuff. I don't care how much it costs, if I have to save up. The next time we move, we're hiring movers. I've already stated that. Mm-hmm. Like my knees are still recovering after like a week of carrying things. Like Our new place is really great, but it doesn't have an elevator, which is a double-edged sword because it means I don't have to wait on elevator rides anymore. But also there's just a certain number of steps that you have to get kind of like into the building from the lobby. So I was lugging stuff like refrigerators like up these steps on like hand carts and. It was a whole thing, so I'm very glad to be back at the table on the mic talking about superhero stuff because these are the things that center me, Chris. So this is really what I need. This
is it, and as I know, it's not been an easy move for you as well. So, lots of stuff going on. But I mean, I know you might have said this, I might have missed it, but thanks to Jason for helping out last week. Stepping in, showing up, coming over. He came with his pad of paper and his notes. I was so impressed. Thank you so much, Jason.
He's on top of it, getting pads of paper. That's going to be a qualification for whenever we need someone to sub in. Just like if you don't show up with notes, you're fired.
Yeah. I sent him notes, and he came ready to go and talk, and he listened to all our other shows, so he was more well-versed than you normally are. 'Cause after we record, it goes right out your head.
Yeah, that's true. I forget when people get cast for things. I'm just, and then you bring it up again, and I'm all surprised, and you're just like, "We talked about this weeks ago, man."
No, I love it. It's like talking to a new person every week with you, Mike. Right? You never know.
I don't know how to take that, but okay.
51st podcast is what we're gonna call this. So.
Yeah, no kidding, jeez.
But yeah, so thanks to Jason, really appreciate it. Especially last minute notice there. And you mentioned this on our thing, but I got my pop shelves up this week and immediately filled them up. So I need to go get more shelving. So, but you saw the picture, Mike. Those are actually all of them I own are on the shelves now. There's none anywhere else that you can see that are Marvel.
That's what I like. So I do have a slight pet peeve, but obviously I do not live in your place. I saw that you left them all in the boxes, and I know you did that so you could kind of double up on them, stack them and stuff, but you got to let those babies out. They got to breathe, man.
Yeah, I've been told that there are two mindsets. My wife lets hers out and breathes. I have quite a I don't know how to put this. I have a lot more than she does, and some of those are truly stacked too deep and too tall. Mm-hmm. So if I took them out, I'd have to quadruple the shelving. So, but I do plan on taking some of them out. So it's not no, I'm never going to. It's just one of those, hey, I got them all up on the shelves and immediately ran out of room to take them out of the boxes.
I think you just need some sort of like interactive schedule that like sends you notifications. It says like, oh, today is Sunday. Please rotate Black Panther with the Hulk. So you can, just gotta make sure you're always getting a nice new snapshot every week.
Yeah, another person also pointed out they're not number order, but I put them by order of what movie or franchise they're a part of. So
okay. That makes sense.
They would come out with an example here, Thor Ragnarok. They did the base set, and then they did a Korg pop much later. Uh-huh. So there are some in the middle that do not belong to Thor Ragnarok, and I would just that would bother me more than just having the numbering out of order. So I have them all grouped up like that. So if anyone wants to see any close-ups or has any questions, you pick a character. I'll tell you if I have it or not. I can pretty much spot it on the wall. So
yep, we're just enabling your problem.
It's not a problem really. It's more of a solution. So, but that's what I've been up to. But we've got news. Let's get into this.
We got to it's. I feel like almost like we skipped last week, even though we didn't. There's so much news here.
Yeah, it just came out of nowhere. So, anytime a new movie's out, a lot of news. And speaking of new movies, we saw Thor Ragnarok this weekend. And our initial impressions. You can head over and listen to our spoiler cast. If you're subscribed right now, it should be in your feed. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe button, and you should get it right away. But for me, I enjoyed Thor Ragnarok. It's the funniest Marvel movie, and probably I think it's funnier than Guardians of the Galaxy 2, consistently across the board. It's the best Thor movie by far, and I think I'd recommend anyone see it if they get the chance. So if you're on the fence, take that dive, get right into the Thor and Hulk and see what they're up to in this movie. That's what I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about it a lot more in depth in our review, our separate review, but I look at Marvel movies more as like a whole, like episodes in a Marvel series, and I feel like you almost kind of got to weigh them against each other. So Thor Ragnarok is a very funny, fun movie. It's lacking a little bit of drama that I'm kind of craving recently, because like we've had a lot of really funny, lighthearted movies this summer with Spider-Man and, like you said, Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm really craving me some Black Panther and some Infinity War. I want to see some deaths that really mean something, but it still doesn't mean that what's in Thor isn't great. So, I think just maybe the next time you organize your MCU marathon at home, maybe throw this one in between some darker movies to lighten things up. But yeah, easily the best Thor movie. That's kind of like a lower bar for sure. But I still actually, out of all of these Marvel movies, I've really wanted to go back and rewatch The Dark World, just because I feel like I just watched it once in theaters and just never revisited it. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that happened in it that I totally missed. I know some people bash on it a little bit, but I think maybe it deserves a little bit of a second watching. But that's going to be a crazy trilogy if you put all these Thor movies back to back. But yeah, Thor Ragnarok is great. Definitely go watch it. See it with the biggest crowd you can, because the laughs work really, really well with a big crowd. But yeah, another solid addition to the MCU series. That was the 17th movie. I mean, come on. Like I think they already have enough movies scheduled to get that full 23 episode season.
Oh yeah, I mean it's I couldn't even imagine. There's so many movies right now, and I think one of the biggest things we talked about today is that as of this weekend, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is the first franchise to cross $5 billion in the North American box office.
Billion. That's with a B.
And
that's so much
America,
money.
And America is pretty stingy compared to the rest of the world sometimes. So
yeah, I'm sure that's at least tripled with the foreign box office, because these movies make bank overseas.
Yeah, exactly. Especially Thor. Thor's been out a week overseas already, and I mean, it, like you said, it's almost near $500 million right now. So, I mean, shit, people are watching Thor, man. Everyone's out there watching Thor, and I can commend that. It's good to see a lot of new characters, a lot of fun characters. I guess we say keep your eye out for Korg. I mean, if I was to tell anybody, watch out for somebody.
Yeah, probably hashtag Korg. I'm sure that's what the kids are going to be saying. But yeah, hashtag Korg.
Hashtag Korg. That's what we think. So, like I said, if you want to hear our full review, spoilers and all, deeper impressions, head over, listen to our review episode, and leave your review there as well. We always want to hear what you think of it. So, also thanks to other people, friends Jim sending a review in, Marshall sending a review in. Everyone had a great time, it sounds like. So, if you're listening, thanks for sending those quick reviews in. So, Avengers Infinity War is on the horizon, Mike. And
yes.
we both know this. And the Russo brothers know this. And they're tired of people asking them when the official trailer is going to drop. I had a conversation about this weekend. Like, why is the Infinity War trailer not out? They're normally out by this time. Well, I'm like, normally a Black Panther movie's not sitting in February in between them.
Yeah. Well, actually, this is really funny, because I had the exact opposite conversation where I was talking to somebody that's actually a pretty big comic book Marvel head. And he, when I said that this Infinity War trailer will probably come before Star Wars, in my opinion, he was kind of surprised surprised. He was expecting he was going to have to wait till Black Panther to see this Infinity War trailer, and I was like, I don't know. I think that's a little far off, actually. I think we're going to be getting it in this calendar year.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, if you want to, again, make people, feel excited for Star Wars, you said an Infinity War trailer before that movie. And as many tickets as that's selling, if you don't put a trailer before it, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. So, yeah, I agree. I think Star Wars is. But the Russo brothers are tired of people asking them on social media, as that's probably like the biggest question. When do we get to see it? When do we get to see it? When do we get to see it? Because it's been, July since the first teaser dropped? And so
the teaser that not everybody got to see, only at D23, I think, is where it kind of leaked a little bit, just slightly.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Hall H had the same trailer as well. So so if you didn't get to see those leaks, but the Russo brothers had a funny comment reply to this with a video from, I believe, the 80s, it looks like, maybe, with Orson Welles selling us some wine. And the whole point of this little trailer, the video that you can find in our link below on Instagram, is that the Russo brothers are not going to give us a trailer until it's ready. The whole point of you don't sell wine until it's ready. They're not going to give us a trailer until it's ready. So
yeah, but of course they wouldn't pipe up and start talking about it if the trailer was coming in February or even January. Like, this is going to be coming soon. I think timing wise,
watch it drop next week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always wrong. But timing wise, for some reason, I feel like maybe a week or two before Star Wars. I feel like that's been kind of the track record. Like a week or two before a big movie comes out, drop your trailer. But to be honest, I feel like maybe this has happened before, but drop the trailer just before everybody goes and sees their family for the holidays in November for Thanksgiving. If you're here in the States, everybody's going to be talking about the trailer all weekend. Oh, did you see that Infinity War trailer? Holy crap. Did you see Thor with his short hair? Oh yeah. Did you see Ragnarok yet? Oh, you got to go see that. Then this trailer is even more amazing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and guess and go with the unsafe bet and say the week. I'm gonna say the Monday before people leave for the holidays on Thanksgiving. So I think that's the 21st, maybe. I think that might be 21st to 20th. That will be my guess for the Infinity War trailer.
I see. I'm going to go the other way. I think too many people are traveling and working in social media. I know all of our hits are down that weekend because everyone's out and talking and not actually on, posting and sharing stuff. So I still think December has a pretty good shot. I think they want to get a month of Thor in before they give us more. Hey, why does Thor have short hair? You kind of said it there. There are things in Thor that may resonate through Infinity War, and they might need to answer that with the movie before we get it. So I go the other way, but I get it. We're going to see a trailer before the end of the year. We both agree with that. And that's really what matters, Mike.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters before Christmas. But on the horizon, Avengers 4 is filming, and we got some new concept art from it. It looks to show, we've seen a lot of this, but you get to see new Spider-Man artwork here in his Iron Spider outfit.
Yeah, this is the first time I'm clicking on this stuff right here, and yeah, you got Iron Spider hanging out up there. Doctor Strange looking about the same. Iron Man looks a little bit more sleek, that's for sure. He's
got a new armor for this one, a little more gold, a little more red to it compared to his Spider-Man outing. The triangle reactor's back kind of in the chest there a little bit, so we'll see where that comes in. But I think the biggest difference down here is the Black Widow taking on the blonde hair and green outfit.
Yeah, that's definitely different.
There's a character in the comics called Yelena Belovna, which is her, arch nemesis, one of her arch nemesis for Black Widow. And this is exactly what she looks like. So she's probably going to take that name as a moniker. And is that a sword on her back? It looks like coming out of her shoulder?
I don't know what that. Yeah, this is because this is it looks like a photo of an actual physical concept art. So we're getting a little bit of flash around here. Yeah. If not, it's one of those weird kind of cat's tails that comes out of a pond or something. I don't know what it is, but we do see the little tippy top of what is that? Maybe going to be Teenage Groot's head.
Yes, Teen Groot. You missed last week. Teen Groot will be motion captured in this movie. So. They've got a guy in a motion capture suit actually playing Teen Groot this time instead of CGing to my all in. So we get to see some of that. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, Doctor Strange, it looks like they just cut a photo out of him. Same with Star-Lord, and Chris Evans looking, stoic as always.
So, he looks awesome in that beard, man.
He does. He's like, man, fuck this America, taking the star off my chest. Notice it's gone. So he's the nomad. So I think that's what they'll call him. But yeah, this is great. It's getting excited. We've got a couple other bits here from filming, Mike. They're refilming some scenes from the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, these next two photos, this is big. This is really what I wanted to talk about today for sure. So we have a photo here of just of Tony and his, like, I think is that the Black Sabbath t-shirt I can kind of see from the side, palling around with classic Thor, Chris Hemsworth and his long hair and his like armor and classic armor. Mm-hmm. Another shot of Loki in that mouth guard. Is that a shield mouth guard? Is that what that was from the original Avengers?
Yeah, like it's like because like they just want him to shut up kind of thing, like stop talking.
Yeah, so it's like what is going on here? Are they doing something like, oh, we want to show a flashback of maybe a scene that the audience did not get to see back in original Avengers? Or I think the big question that's looming here is there time travel going on in here? I know when you first say time travel, people might get a little defensive, like, oh, what's going on here? That's very complicated, very complex. X-Men very surprisingly managed to pull it off, but that was very isolated type of movie based on a previous X-Men story that was kind of already set in stone. So like, whoa, bringing in time travel, this might be really confusing. It does get me a little confused and a little worried at the first. But also, these whole Marvel movies are all about kind of hitting these different kind of themes, and maybe this could be just kind of more of a straight up time travel movie. Maybe we kind of lean into like a Back to the Future or Looper a little bit, and maybe Avengers Infinity War is going to deal with a lot of time travel. I don't know.
So I'm leaning towards your first one a little more. Like there's this scene was very, very brief in the first Avengers when they let Loki go. Mm-hmm. When he was wearing that mouth guard, it was just at the end where Thor and him twist the Tesseract and go back to Asgard. Mm-hmm. So I think there's more to that scene that we don't see or didn't see, and like maybe the Tesseract isn't really back at Asgard.
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
Fooled it.
It could be more plausible that direction, just because we've seen in other Russo Brothers movies like Civil War, they do show scenes from the past. Like we had to see the Winter Soldier kind of kill Tony's parents in that was like 1997, 98, whatever time that was. We've gone back in time in other Marvel movies to show things from the past, but this is kind of the first time I think we've gone back to fill in gaps from another movie. So maybe once Loki goes back to Asgard, maybe we see him very quickly ditch Thor and maybe go talk to Thanos and try to plan something out, like a long-term plan to get the Tesseract. I don't know.
After this, he was put in the jail in Thor: The Dark World. He was in the jail, so I think there's something here. But there's also another set of photos that I don't have here that show Tony in a Hydra outfit, like on the same set, or not a Hydra, a Shield like SWAT outfit on the same set, looking a little older. So I don't know what they're doing here. Man, like this movie has got me all sorts of messed up in the head. Like I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess in a movie, it's more plausible that you could have a character like Chris Hemsworth going around with some battle damage, which I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen Ragnarok yet. But there is some lasting battle damage that happens to Thor in that movie, and it's just like, how long do you stretch that out? Do you magically fix that problem with time travel? Or do you let that go? I mean, we're not talking about like a TV budget anymore. Like when Agent Coulson lost his hand in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's really easy. You put a glove over it and you don't have to pay that CG for that hand. So it's just like, well, what do you do? Are they going to go back, or are they going to fix Thor post-mortem? Like what's going on here? And there's a whole gem that goes on this glove that deals with time. So I feel like time travel's got to be involved at some point. We saw it very heavily in Doctor Strange with the eye of Agamotto. So if Thanos is going to get a hold of that, I mean,
well, even if Thanos doesn't, if Doctor Strange's like, we still have this one gem, let's use it to our advantage to maybe change the ending of the Avengers, where we put the Tesseract somewhere else so we get it before Thanos comes and gets it.
Yeah, or maybe Thanos does get it, and maybe he pulls a maybe he pulls a Samurai Jack. Like in Samurai Jack, if you haven't seen it, the big bad guy is about to get killed by the hero, so he uses his magic to throw the hero into a different time period to kind of get him away from him. So maybe that could happen. Maybe Tony, like you said, he looks a little old in that shield SWAT gear. Maybe Tony's about to punch Thanos in the face or throw a big blow, and it's just we're gonna throw Tony back into the past, and he's gonna have to maybe find his way back to the future. I don't know. There's a lot going on here. I mean, he knows the Eye of Agamotto probably has the time gem, so maybe in the past he hunts down Doctor Strange. He's like, hey, I need that. You don't know who I am, but I need it. Send me this time. I'm fixing shit. And I don't know. There's a whole lot that could be played with time travel, which is why it's a little worrisome. But it opens up this whole big universe, and this is kind of the time where you put all your cards on the table. This is Infinity War, either part 1 or part 2.
This is 2. This is Avengers 4. 3 is done in the can. So this is it. This is where they can't hold anything back, and they got to go all in and show all their cards.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. I mean, we might not see Robert Downey Jr. come back after this movie. Chris Hemsworth might be done. Captain America could die. There's some really big catastrophic things that could happen. And, who knows? I mean, these guys, they're getting older. I mean, I'm not saying they don't look cool on screen anymore, but they might want to go do other shit, like go on vacation or something. They got plenty of money, so there's a lot riding on this last movie, so I would not be surprised to see time travel.
Yeah. I mean, they've already set it up once, and, if they don't do it in the first movie, I actually trust them more putting it in the second movie. Simply because as long as it's not like, hey, we're going to actively time travel, and then you have to worry about that over 2 whole movies. This is a little safer, I feel. So whatever they're doing, I mean, I'm still leaning towards hopefully there's more stuff that we didn't see, and they're unveiling more scenes that we never saw in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's really what I wanted to see. So crossing my fingers for that, man. Really, really crossing fingers. But that's not the only movie filming flashbacks this week. Ant-Man and the Wasp, we get to see our first look at Michelle Pfeiffer on set as Janet Van Dyne. And she's looking pretty young, and she's got some dots on her face there that look like they're setting up to do motion capture.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to de-age her a bit.
And while she looks good for her age and, what she is here, the next set of photos, Michael Douglas sporting a brown wig has dots on his face as well.
Oh my god, it just looks like a bag disguise. It looks like he's trying to avoid paparazzi, so throw a weird wig and put some sunglasses on, man.
Yeah, so he's got brown hair. If there's a close up of this, you can see the dots on his face too. So I think this is going to be a little more history between Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne, kind of detailing their history together while being de-aged. It
makes me wonder, how obvious are they making it that, the original Wasp, Michelle Pfeiffer, is going to come back? They made it a point to say she was missing in that, atomic zone or whatever they called it in the first movie. So, is it obvious that she's coming back? Should it not be a surprise when we see her show up in the movie and maybe there's some sort of crazy, 4-way super-sized or tiny-sized battle where that's a 4-person team-up? I don't really know. We don't even really know who the bad guy in this movie is, so I don't even know who they're going to have to rally around to fight necessarily. I don't know. So I don't know if they're burying the lead with Michelle Pfeiffer or not, but I think that seems like they're probably going to save her, right? Why would you do a flashback if you're not going to see her later in the movie?
Yeah, I mean, or maybe it's all flashbacks and they never get her back, kind of thing. Maybe it's one of those false hope things, oh, hey, there's all these flashbacks, and this is where she's supposed to be because we said we'd meet here if we ever got shrunk down or something like that. And then, she's never there because she's been gone the whole time. It's all been, a false hope. You find yourself in the story. Here's your drama, Mike. This is
that would. I was going to say, that would be a dramatic red herring where it's all building up, and then they go into the atomic area, and they find her, and she's just dead. It's well, of course she's dead. She hasn't eaten in, decades. She's starved to death, So, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. But also, I always forget this. Laurence Fishburne is in this movie. He's been cast as Bill Foster in this movie, but he's also working on a secret Marvel project with Marvel. A previous idea he had, and Marvel reapproached him once he got the part in Ant-Man, but there's no indication if it's a comic book, a TV show, a movie, anything at all. So, yeah, I don't know. A lot of Ant-Man. I keep forgetting Ant-Man and Wasp is here, man. It's next summer. So
yeah, so it's gonna be it's gonna be. I feel, I don't know if I feel bad for it, but it's always following like just a very big movie. Like the first one was after, was it after Winter Soldier? It was after Age of Ultron. Yeah, it's always following up some sort of big, gigantic, bombastic movie. So it's just like, have fun after Infinity War.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the good thing about Infinity War is the next one is still there. Like Avengers 4 is still around the corner, so it's like caught in the middle, like, oh, we gotta watch this because what if something in this one happens to the Infinity War? But I don't know. I forget it's there. I think we'll get our trailer with it before Black Panther, if I was to be honest. So
yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
I think it's a June or July release. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Captain Marvel, some not news, just confirmation. Filming begins February of 2018 in LA this time, not Atlanta.
Ooh, that would be cool if I could kind of come across one of the sets.
Yep. I imagine there's going to be a lot of CGI and green screen, not a lot of outdoor stuff. But a lot of people are like, oh, it's filming in January, and Kevin Feige's like, no, it's February. And like, oh, it's delayed, and like, no, it's not delayed. Like, this is what we were always going to do. So they have a full 12 months, I think, or maybe 13 months from starting the filming till it releases to give us our Skrulls and Captain Marvel and the young Nick Fury in the 90s. I'm really excited for this one. Like, that's got a lot of potential to be a new intro movie that really knocks us out.
Young Nick Fury, they're really working their CG artists on their de-aging filter.
Yeah. and he'll have 2 eyes. So, how do you add an eye back to Samuel L. Jackson? Oh, wait, he's already got one. So, oh, well. So, Captain Marvel's on Horizon. Really excited about that as well. New Warriors, the TV show, Mike, one of the many Marvel TV shows on the horizon, will not air on Freeform after all.
Oh, wow.
Freeform couldn't find a spot in this lineup that was like worth putting the show in. They were like, we can't give it a primetime spot. We already have those, but we're not going to give you a Friday at 10 o'clock because, that's just shooting yourself in the foot. So
yeah, that's really weird considering the other note we have here is it tested through the roof. So it's just like, how do you not make room for it? I mean, this is a Marvel show. I feel like anything Marvel at least has a chance of drawing an audience, whether it's good or not. So it's just like, make room, kick something else out. I don't know. I don't watch Freeform a whole lot just because the network is not directed towards us. Like the show's much younger crowd. I think it leans female. Nothing wrong with that, but it's just not for us. Maybe the show just didn't turn out to fit Freeform's kind of network.
I don't know what their airing schedule is, but they show a lot of Harry Potter movies on Freeform, and then they do the 25 Days of Christmas, and now they're doing a countdown to the 25 Days of Christmas. So a quarter of their year is dedicated to Christmas movies. It sounds like
wait, they're counting down to a countdown?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's I don't know. It's very confusing, but Freeform's been on lately because of, I think Harry Potter's been on quite a bit lately. So. They do a lot of marathons like that, so I don't know, but I mean, I would put it, if it really did test through the roof like they say it is, you should fucking find a spot for it because no one's watching Freeform for original content. But Marvel is very intent on airing this show. They're like, we're gonna find a home for it, but this is causing a problem. They cannot shop New Warriors to outside networks because it is Disney produced it pretty much, and they're like, no.
So it's like, what is considered an outside network now? Because yes, they have shows on Netflix and they have shows on Hulu with the Runaways, but those are all kind of like older deals. So it's like, besides Freeform and ABC, like, where do you go? You're not going to put it on ESPN. That's I don't think that would work out well.
Yeah, I don't know what networks. I think Netflix and Hulu are still on the table. Amazon might also be on the table as well, because those are independent studios, not network television.
Yeah, maybe, but also I feel like it wouldn't work on Netflix just because this show is supposed to be airing soon, right? Correct me if
I don't know if they have a release date anymore. I don't even know if they had one to begin with.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's been testing through the roof, that means at least the show has been. Things have been written. It's been production. Like, it's going to be weird for a show that has built-in commercial breaks to be thrown up on Netflix and trying to be shown as like premium. And then plus you have to like, well, how does this fit in with the other Netflix shows? Well, it doesn't. But you see, it was supposed to be on this other network, so we had to put it on Netflix. So just have all of that in your head before you go watch this show. It's like, no. I don't think that's going to work. I mean, maybe Hulu, but I don't know, where do you put this? Hey, maybe they should put it on that new DC streaming app. That'd be pretty funny.
No, this will launch on Disney's new streaming app. That's what it'll be. But the thing is, like, Freeform ordered this to series in April. Like, yes, make a whole series out of this. So they've got a whole series worth of stuff. It's 10 episodes, but they're shooting for 2018. I just don't know where it could go. So I don't know. But like right now, production's scheduled to start in January 2018, so it could be fall. So the pilot's done, but the production won't start until January. So it could be fall. I don't know. I think we'll still see this. I don't know where we'll see it, but we'll see it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they could do something clever where if it's going to be 2018 of fall, this Disney streaming app is supposedly going to be in 2019. So maybe they could just hold back for a little while. If it's good, still produce the second season, and they could do like this crazy double whammy where you get a full season, binge watch it all at once when the Disney streaming app drops, and then like a couple months later, start airing weekly episodes of season 2. I mean, like that's a strategy. That's one thing that I'm thinking.
I'm also thinking maybe if they want to, I don't know if they never find a home, put it on ABC, their streaming app, because a lot of things are putting it on their own apps. I mean, I don't see it being, that's not ideal. That is not ideal at all. But, if S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't get season 6, maybe they could put it in there somewhere. I don't know. There's a lot of options, and we're not the producers. So
yeah, it's rough. Things are rough.
Things are rough. Speaking of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., new characters, 4 new characters have been teased with new photos and descriptions. I don't know 3 of the 4, but the 4th one is Flint. Flint is based on the New Humans character Flint, who has the ability to control rocks and like ground, so like stone. So he can like put it on himself or throw it at people, so on and so forth.
Sounds like an earthbender to me.
It pretty much. And he looks a lot like his comic book character here. But looking at it, it looks like he's maybe in like an Alien 3 spaceship. Cause
it does kind of
in the back. And
yeah, and he's got this. I don't want to say futuristic raincoat, but there seems to be an aesthetic to him.
Yeah, it's like a dirty used universe going on here. Like the background looks dirty and used and looks spacey rather than like on Earth. So.
Yeah, but real quick before we breeze past this, what's a New Human?
Okay, so in the comic books, there was an event called Infinity, where Black Bolt blew up Attilan, the planet, which was floating above New York, and it released all the Terrigen into the atmosphere. And a lot of people who had the latent inhuman genes became Inhumans. Kind of like S.H.I.E.L.D. did it in the water. The comic books did it in the sky. All these people coming in, being created as Inhumans from this were called the New Humans, because they weren't chosen and selected and weren't trained to get these powers. They just got them overnight while they were sleeping on accident.
Gotcha.
So instead of calling them regular Inhumans, they were called New Humans. So other than that, there's no difference in biology or stuff. They're just not trained and kind of dealing with that as they go. But yeah, so this looks like Flint from that series. So that's cool.
All right. Well, cool. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. going to space, hopefully.
I have a PlayStation 4 for one reason and one reason only, Mike, and that is to get the new Spider-Man game when it comes out next year.
Yeah.
And a new story trailer for the Spider-Man game dropped this week, some game event. And we watched it right before this, Mike, and I think it looks really fun. I haven't been excited about a Spider-Man game since, mid-2000s.
Yeah.
And this one's getting me.
Yeah, the funny thing is I don't really give a shit about the story. I just want web slinging to be as awesome as it was back in like the Spider-Man 2 video game back on like Xbox or I think PlayStation
Xbox.
1, maybe PlayStation
Xbox
2.
PS2,
I don't remember.
Yeah.
So like that web slinging was just fun and addictive, and I just want that back. So it's cool that they're putting out a story trailer, but like you said, we were kind of already sold on this game. The outfits, like the costumes, like super awesome because they're doing that unique twist with the white spider logo on them. Probably makes it easier to track the character as it's moving very quickly around. So like as long as the web slinging is like solid, I'll go out and hunt down a PS4 just so I can play it.
Yeah, it also looks to include a bunch of characters, like Mr. Negative was in there, there's a Shocker, we can see Kingpin being arrested, and Norman Osborn being elected for something. They blatantly introduced us to Miles, so he's going to be a big part of the story. So
yeah.
I think there's a lot of great things adding up for this, and it looks beautiful. and hopefully we get a demo sooner than later to see that web swinging, so I can tell you, Mike, if you need to get it or not. So,
how much do you want to bet that Miles is downloadable content? Like, oh, you want to play more of the game after you beat it? Wait for this DLC that's going to be $12 where you can play as Miles on this mini story.
It'll be a pre-order skin. I don't think it'll be extra story. I think it'll be like, you want to dress as the Ultimate Spider-Man? Do the pre-order.
All right, we'll see.
I don't know. He doesn't have his powers in it. I don't know. It's weird. So we'll see. Knock on wood. Spider-Man PS4 be good for us. Venom has been filming, despite our protests, our silent protests, for 2 weeks now, and we got a first look from the Venom Twitter saying filming for 2 weeks, which sees Tom Hardy just chilling on his phone, taking a picture of himself in his trailer. It looks like maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell if it's lighting or what, but it looks like in the trailer he's got very black hair. It almost looks like it's been dyed. Yeah,
it's got dark hair. I think it's the lighting because his phone is blending right into his shirt, like right there where he's holding it in the middle. Mm-hmm. He's got he's wrapped up on his arms, I think, to cover his personal tattoos. Mm-hmm. It looks a little disheveled, but the second photo is really what I want to talk about. On set, a set photo was taken of him, and he looks fucking jacked in this movie.
Yeah, he's always been jacked. So
yeah, so playing Eddie Brock, as everyone here on this production is on their fucking phones. He's looking pretty good. I'm not more excited than I was before, but we're seeing it. It's happening, Mike. We can't.
Yeah,
we can't avoid it.
I feel like the only thing that's going to get me excited for a Venom movie is if somehow they cast somebody in the movie that's really exciting, which I don't really know who that could be. That would get me excited. Or they're going to have to show me like a rendering. What is Venom actually going to look like? But I feel like they might almost save that for a reveal in the first trailer. And then maybe after the trailer drops, they'll release like the official like footage, but official like photos of it. But yeah, I need to see what Venom's going to look like to get excited,
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, they talked about casting Riz Ahmed as Carnage. I don't know if that gets you excited or not.
Maybe.
Okay, well, there we go. That's something. I've officially put this higher than Fantastic Four on my list. So
oh, no.
It's moving up the list a little bit more because if Tom Hardy's there, I believe in him to do something. So at least mediocre. Not very, very, very bad. Mm-hmm. So there are some photos from Venom. It's really happening. I keep saying that because I just don't believe it every time. But we got that going for us. Lion King voice cast was announced this week as well. I sent this over to you guys. And just an image from Disney on Twitter showing all the people cast here. As we knew, Donald Glover was Simba. James Earl Jones returning as Mufasa. The other thing to kind of confirmed here is Beyonce as Nala.
Yeah, I think that was probably the biggest explosion on the internet when this image dropped. I had to do a little research when I saw this kind of getting retweeted around. I'm sure Disney has really amazing graphic designers, but just the layout of this, putting it in like this kind of square tile, it almost looked like it was made by like a fan or something like that. So I was like, is this real or is this fan casting? Is Beyonce really in this movie?
Yeah, not official photos from Disney, like just something you found on Google, and they put black and white filters on them.
Yeah.
I was kind of going through picking out Marvel characters here. Donald Glover was in Spider-Man. Chiwetel Ejiofor was in Doctor Strange. He's playing Scar. I think that's a very good casting. Alfred Woodard was in both Civil War and Luke Cage. John Connie as Rafiki was in Civil War and Black Panther as his father.
Yeah.
Keep scrolling down here. Florence Kazumba is also in Black Panther as one of the guards and was in Civil War as one of the guards. So a lot of Marvel people moving over here. Eric Andre is definitely an interesting cast after seeing his show. John Oliver as Zazu, pretty funny.
I almost feel like when I saw John Oliver as Zazu, it made so much sense. I was like, was John Oliver the original Zazu? But like, I don't think he was.
Yeah, he looks like it as well. Just like looking like I can see that. So I mean, It's got some great casting. Does this make you more excited for Disney's live action translations, Mike, or less excited?
I mean, is it live action? It's all going to be rendered in a computer, right? So that's not the last time we're going to hear that uttered. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Beyonce in a movie. I mean, holy crap, that's going to make a ton of money just because Beyonce's in there. So
well, we've got Simba, Donald Glover, who can sing, and Beyonce, who can sing.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I totally forgot about the musical elements of the movie.
Yeah, so they got that going for them, and then 2 comedians is Timon and Pumbaa. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch this with my wife, and I feel really good about the casting. The diversity of the casting is even better as well. This has been a stage play for years as well. That's award winning. So I think they'll probably put a little love into it. So I'm less worried about this movie than I was originally.
Okay, cool.
There we go. However, I'm very worried about Warner Brothers, as is tradition. Lord of the Rings, they're looking to bring to as a TV series to Amazon.
Oh man, too soon. Too soon. I just rewatched the extended movies like earlier this year, and I felt like I took so much of my life just to rewatch all of those movies. I'm good on Lord of the Rings for a while. Obviously, I think this is very early stages because I think I saw this earlier on the web. And it's just like, oh, we don't even have a writer pen. This is just in discussions. Nothing's official. But even if, like, you stretch this out on the longest timeline possible, and it was 5 more years until the first episode aired, I still think it's, like, too soon. Those Lord of the Rings movies are so iconic when it comes to, like, the fantasy filming, getting stuff, like, to look awesome on screen. You know, Lord of the Rings really delved into it, you know, as inspiration. I mean, we just had Hobbit movies, whether they were good or not, they still happened. So it's just like the only way I think to make a Lord of the Rings series work is you just can't focus on the main characters. You got to find some of those side stories and what do they call that? The Silmarillion, yeah, whatever it's called.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, it's like Star Wars. There's a lot of Middle Earth and stuff you can explore. The video games, Shadow of War and stuff coming out, focusing on new characters is really great. However, they did say in the article I read that they're looking to put Bilbo and Gollum, Adventures of Bilbo and Gollum. I'm like, or Frodo and Gollum. So I don't know which ones they're going to choose. Like, will they start at The Hobbit and work their way through Lord of the Rings? I don't know, but I agree.
They could try to be they could try to be really bold with this, which is I don't know if they would even get this signed off on by the Tolkien estate. But I'll throw it back to Nickelodeon and Avatar again real quick. When they made that second Avatar series, Legend of Korra, they did something really amazing where they jumped forward in time so far where most of the main characters from the last series would basically be dead. So they just kind of focused on a new generation, on what does this world look like when you move further down in time. So that could be kind of interesting. What does Middle Earth look like when maybe they start discovering just a little bit of technology, like maybe the first train or something? I don't know. Maybe there's fans out there that are just like shrieking back from their speakers right now going, what the hell is he talking about? But like, there's other things to explore. I mean, what do you want them to do? What do you really want them to do? If this series has to happen, do you want them to retread on a story that they already did really, really well in the movies? Or do you want them maybe to visit something in the future that, you know, doesn't affect what you love so much? So I feel like if you want to be safe, have them tell a story that hasn't existed yet, you know?
Well, that's you're reiterating my exact points I feel about Star Wars. Like, don't tell us the same 30 years over and over again, like from different angles. To me, Star Wars go back in time to the Old Republic. Lord of the Rings could go back in time to when Sauron was first in power, and like maybe that overthrowing him and like getting all the kingdoms together to do that.
Don't some of these Lord of the Rings video games kind of touch on that too? And I feel like those games have been really successful, so maybe take that approach. But yeah, just redoing the movies as a series. I think maybe originally, if these Lord of the Rings movies were never made and then you want to make a series, yeah, go ahead and do it, because obviously it works. I mean, Game of Thrones is like the biggest fucking show ever, you know, it's amazing. So, but yeah, you already got the movies, man.
Taking good movies and making TV shows only works if the movie isn't like ingrained in culture, like Fargo or 12 Monkeys or something like that. Like, not everyone walks around like, oh yeah, we went to a Fargo convention this weekend.
Yeah, I think they're making they're making a Get Shorty TV series. And I think they're just retelling the story of Get Shorty. Yeah, that's fine. No one's worried about Get Shorty, the legacy of Get Shorty.
Exactly, or the legacy of Showgirls, the movie. So yeah, I'm definitely not behind this, and it sounds like Mike is in the same vein, unless they find a interesting way and new way to do it.
Yeah, well, we're not super big Tolkien heads, so I don't think we're too worried either way.
No, not a bit. However, there's some interesting news about Star Wars: The Last Jedi and Disney here. Disney's demanding 65% of revenue from the ticket sales of The Last Jedi from theaters, Mike. Mm-hmm. And this is up from 64% for The Force Awakens and Rogue One.
So they're upping it. They're upping it 1%, right?
1%, but also requiring that The Last Jedi plays at 4 weeks minimum in that theater's largest stadium. The standard is usually 2 weeks. Do I think Star Wars will slow down over 4 weeks? Probably not. But is that a risk a theater is willing to take if more movies come out that month after that people want to see?
Yeah, I think most of the edge cases that I've been seeing where people were really worried about this were kind of smaller market theaters that like maybe it's like, you know, your theater that's in your historic downtown where there's literally only 2 screens. Mm-hmm. So if you're stuck with Star Wars for 4 weeks, you're not going to be able to see maybe some of these other movies that come out. I mean, because there are a lot of smaller market movies that sometimes do kind of creep out towards the end of the year because they're trying to make it in time for like that Oscar cutoff. So that could be a problem. I think it is kind of shitty. I mean, when I think about it, I think most theaters out there won't really care. Maybe the 1 percentage point, but I think most theaters are going to keep Jedi in their theater for 4 weeks in their biggest screen because what else are they going to put there? I don't think anything else is coming out that would overtake that in their largest theater. But I mean, like, it does seem a little shitty. Like, hey, let's get another 1% because our movie's so well. But also at the same time, Disney kind of has the ability to throw their weight around. I mean, I don't know how the box office has recovered over the summer, but this was a really bad summer for the box office. So maybe Disney's like, hey, if we're the reason you're even getting customers, we want another percentage. I mean, I guess it's just the greedy corporate side of Disney that always has to exist. I mean, there's a ton of crazy stuff happening over here on the west side of the country where the LA Times was booted out of advanced screenings of Disney movies because they wrote this big expose on Anaheim and Disneyland and about how the government is kind of colludes a little bit with the theme park to kind of get these breaks that maybe they shouldn't be getting. We don't really know if it's like illegal or unethical or what's going on there. So yeah, there is this dark side of Disney that we all forget about because they're all responsible for all these wonderful childhood memories. But yeah, they're a freaking like business that throws the hammer down that, and that can get kind of scary.
Yeah, well, and to me, I mean, you shouldn't need like this will be $1 billion movie, Mike. Mm-hmm. And 1% on $1 billion is $10 million extra over this movie, right? Mm-hmm. If my math is right. You know, they don't need it. They shouldn't. Like, I can get the percentage if they didn't require the 4-week minimum. Like, I guess that's the thing that gets me, because even like, you know, some people still like going to old theaters, and you know, sometimes you don't have that choice, but like, you know, 4 weeks is a long time for movies to not be just rotate, like even not even just taken out, but like rotated to a different thing. Because, you know, what if they want to come back and show an old IMAX movie, a movie that came out like in IMAX, and like, okay, well, we have this opportunity, well, now we can't do that, or we can't release a special screening of something. Yeah. But like breaking the deal says it would increase the percentage to 70%, and like you'd also get fined or something like that. So like, a lot of like, again, the bigger chain city theaters will probably agree to it, but you know, we're used to city theaters. Growing up, I'm not used to that. So they were like, a lot of theaters are like, now we're not showing Star Wars. Like we're just not going to do it this year because of this. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the precedent almost as much either, because in this scenario, it's okay because there's not another big movie coming out afterwards. But there was a point in time where Star Wars was originally going to be coming out in the summer, but, you know, it got shifted back to the winter. So if this movie was coming out in May and it demands the biggest theater for 4 weeks, well, what happens if another big movie comes out? What if I can't go see Pacific Rim 2 in the biggest theater where you theoretically should be seeing Pacific Rim in the biggest freaking theater that's available, and I can't go see it because Star Wars is still there. It's just like, hey, I saw Star Wars opening night, and hey, I saw it again the week after because it was so good. Are you saying I can't go see Pacific Rim 2 now in the biggest theater with the giant like seats that even like cost me more money because they move with the movie that I'm watching? And it's just like, that's kind of shitty. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe the pushback will be enough to tell them to knock it off.
Yeah, I don't know, because if they did this for Marvel in Avengers 4, like can't take Avengers 4 out of your biggest theater for 4 weeks. Well, Star Wars 9 was going to come out within 3 weeks. Yeah. So like, how do you eat your own theater? Like, I mean, what do you do here? Like, I don't know. So
no, what's going to happen? People are just going to fucking pirate the movie. They're not going to give you the money. So it's like,
you're gonna theaters are going to get pissed off, and then when they're not showing it in theaters, you're out the money.
This what happens when I'm away for a week. I start swearing on the podcast.
Yeah, you do. You're very upset. Well, let's maybe talk a little bit about another Star Wars movie, Solo, the Star Wars story. Ron Howard has reshot almost the entire movie since he's gained on because they needed to do it, pretty much reshoot the entire thing, which has increased the production budget to almost double. But to me, this is okay because it's going to result in a consistent film. When someone tries to go in and patchwork a film together of stuff they've already shot and try to make it work, bad things happen. Star Wars, Disney have money to redo it. To me, that's fine. Reshoot the whole thing if you have to. Make it a consistent movie experience.
It really makes you wonder, because now everyone's always going to be thinking, "What if?" This is always going to be the "What if" movie now. I don't know.
I've never once thought, "What if another director had this movie?" Like ever. So
I think it might be just because how lukewarm we talk about Rogue One. I mean, what if originally, like just theoretically, Lord and Miller were supposed to direct Rogue One, and then they got kicked out, and then somebody else came in, and then we kind of got this experience that was kind of worth it at the very end because we got to see Darth Vader just go crazy, but the whole movie was kind of forgettable. We haven't really watched it again, even though it was on Netflix and we could have watched it for free. But yeah, so like if Han Solo just ends up kind of being just kind of in the middle, lukewarm, we know we wouldn't have gotten a lukewarm experience with Lord Miller. It maybe it wouldn't have been on model or on theme with Star Wars, but at least it would have been something in one direction. So I just feel like with Ron Howard, we might just kind of get this meandering movie in the middle that'll make money, that'll just appease most audiences. But I don't know, these Star Wars stories used to be such a cool idea, but now they're just kind of like meh.
So to me, and I don't mean this in a bad way, Mike, but it sounds like you're just sucking Lord Miller's dick for this movie. Like, I don't like any of their movies but the Lego movie. So I don't get that. Like, I'm glad they're gone. Like, I don't need people free balling this movie, like any movie. So
I want them. These are the movies they should be free balling. These Star Wars stories, just do whatever you want. It's crazy. It's a sandbox. Who cares what you do because it's not in the main trilogy.
But it's mostly because I don't care about a Han Solo movie. Like, give them something.
So you're just not as invested anyway. And I guess I'm not too much either. But I don't know. It just kind of, we just talked about Disney throwing their weight around with that, and they're throwing the weight around like, well, if we hired you and gave you money, but we still don't like where you're going, so you're fucking fired. You're out of here. So, but I don't know. I guess
we don't know why they.
This is really weird. I'm going to Disneyland for my birthday here in a couple weeks, so I got to find a way to turn my brain around and enjoy
Disneyland will be fine. You'll forget all about this. But, like, I don't know. To me, no one, like, same as Lord of the Rings, go back, go forward, tell a different Star Wars story with a different character, and then you can have fun with it. That's kind of why Thor Ragnarok works. They're not trying to tell... I told a new story in a funny way. Like, give them, if they're Lord Miller going to do something, give them the reins to go tell something that doesn't need to affect, like, the mythology of Han Solo or Obi-Wan Kenobi or whoever they're going to do, because why even tell that story? We've talked about that to death. So that's, I don't know. Fuck that movie. So, and lastly, Star Wars news-wise, because we got more Star Wars news here.
Oh, man. Okay, is this going to make me happy or mad?
I don't know. Kathleen Kennedy says they're mapping out the next 10 years of Star Wars. Oh, now, okay. We've always kind of been in like, hey, since Disney bought Star Wars, they've put out a movie every year. Now, what were they going to do once they told this new trilogy? Start a new one, take a break, do something else?
We heard that they were going to take a break. We talked about this on the show, I want to say a couple months ago, where they said, oh, we're going to give it some breathing room. Apparently, it doesn't sound like it anymore.
Yeah, so Kathleen Kane said they're mapping it the next 10 years. It says it's featuring the new characters, stuff I assume we've mentioned, like we've gotten in this new trilogy, because the other original ones the actors are old, they're up there. They don't
Some of them are I don't want to be crass, but some of them are dying fictionally and in real life.
There we go. So so they're kind of out. So they're going to work on these new characters. They want to work on new directors and new places in the galaxy. That's what I want. Will they do it? I don't know.
I don't know.
We've got a trilogy to complete before we can see where they really actually do, if they do anything. Because the theory is, it's an Obi-Wan movie after the Han Solo movie being the next story movie. Mm-hmm. And that's not a new place in the galaxy, so we'll see how that plays out. Deadpool 2 is next summer. I keep forgetting that's so close. That's so around the corner. Mm-hmm. And Tyler Bates has been hired to score the film since Junkie XL dipped out with the director. So Tyler Bates, he did Guardians movies. He did 300, Watchmen, Sucker Punch, those Zack Snyder movies, and John Wick. So,
sounds like he's got a resume, so bring it on.
So he's worked with the John Wick directors, or working with Deadpool 2. So I assume he will be back here for this because they worked with the directors. So, I don't know. Have you watched Gotham yet?
I've still only ever seen the pilot, man.
Yeah, that's one more than I've seen. The actress Peyton List, I don't know who she is, has been cast as Poison Ivy. The only reason I mention this is the third casting of Poison Ivy in the show due to her transforming and becoming more like her comic book version.
All right.
The original show had her as like a little kid, and they were like, well, we can't have a little kid doing like sexual seductions of men. So
yeah, that's true.
She got aged up due to someone's power. Now she'll be transforming again into this new actress. So
yeah, I mean, I did a quick Google search because I have a feeling we're not the only ones that don't know who Peyton List is, but it looks like she might be a tween. Like, she kind of looked like maybe like 16 or 15 in some of the Google images I saw. So I hope she's still not seducing people at that age. Oh, well, she looks younger, so hopefully they're playing her off as like 18 or 19, or that's gonna get kind of weird.
Yeah. Is this? Hold on a second. Is that the right Did I even get the right name? Maybe. Oh no, there it is. Yeah, she's Frequencies Peyton List. Maybe that's the wrong Peyton List. You're looking at the wrong one.
Oh, okay.
There's an older one who looks to be older. I don't know who. Why do people have the same names in Hollywood?
Dang it, Google, just get your shit together.
Yeah, she is.
Help me out.
Peyton List has been around for a while. This is another article. So, yeah, I don't know. Over 400 advertisements. She's appeared in 400 advertisements. So.
All right. Well, I guess just throw out everything I just said.
Yeah, don't do a Google. Don't do a Google on her. So there we go. Older, more not green-skinned Poison Ivy yet.
All right.
The Krypton show, we're also getting threatened with it every couple of years, has cast the character Cherries, which was Superman's great-grandmother, because we need to see Superman's whole family lineage here. And the character Brainiac. And I'm like, why do you got to bring Brainiac into this show that nobody wants to watch?
Man, I do not care about Krypton. I think in the best possible scenario, this might get 2 seasons, but I would honestly be shocked if it gets the full season done. You know, I don't think this is going to be good at all.
It's been a very slow process to get this far. Normally they fast track these shows, so I don't know. I'm not watching it. You watching it?
No. Guess what? They all blow up and die at some point. That's going to be the end of the show. So have fun investing in those characters.
Damn it! When they finally do a show that tells the history of something, we already know what happens in the end. Son of a bitch. That just throws out all my Star Wars and Lord of the Rings arguments. So.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Superman is supposedly getting a video game, maybe announced early as this week. Rocksteady, who did the Arkham games, is apparently going to announce a Superman game they're working on and will be released pretty soon, according to like a cover of Game Informer coming out.
Well, anything's going to be better than that classic Superman 64 game. So
you don't like Superman? You don't like flying through the circles above the little blocky city?
Oh my gosh,
I
remember sleepovers trying to do that. That was rough.
I like Superman in the Injustice games, the fighting games. He's pretty fun in those. But yeah, that's about it. Did you ever play the Superman Returns Xbox game?
No.
They
Has anybody played that game?
I played the demo. It takes the Spider-Man open Metropolis concept, but it doesn't work when you're Superman and can just do everything. So, yeah, it's kind of boring. It's real boring. Like, Justice League has some interesting news here in that the screening reactions are prohibited up until like the day before the movie. So anyone who's getting screenings right now cannot say a word until the movie's almost here.
The day up until the movie. I don't know. Do we look into that? Usually that's not a good sign. Usually if the movie's good, they'll let you talk about it a week before the movie comes out, you know?
Did they do that with Wonder Woman reactions? I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a good analog to see because they didn't know if Wonder Woman quite proved herself yet, so... I don't know. This Justice League movie is just a really big experiment that I'm looking forward to see how it turned out. You know, it's almost like you bought a cheeseburger, you threw it in a jar, and you were just kind of let's not look at it for a couple months and see what it looks like afterwards.
Yeah, it looks like a few weeks before Wonder Woman, they let people react to it, spoiler free online. So I think this is a interesting sign. I was talking with my friend Patrick about why does Whedon not get a directing credit on this, you know? And we have no idea what's happened, what's going on, and yeah.
I have a feeling that maybe he had a chance to get a directing credit, and then he just turned it down for the sake of the tragedy of why he's directing the movie to begin with. So I could just see him just being a class act. You know, he's like, I'm making my Batgirl movie. I don't need directing credit on this. You know. At
the same time, the Directors Guild will require him to do it. Like, it's not like he can say no and then just get by with it. So they might be paying a fine to get him off of there or something like that. But that sets a precedent for Directors Guilds. So
yeah, maybe.
I don't know. That was a big thing we talked about. Like, there's like you can't just like I wish we could say, hey, he just did it, but there are. I mean, as you know, being in Hollywood, the guilds set a lot of those rules forward. So Nightwing has some interesting news here, I guess. The actor Dacre Montgomery, he was in Power Rangers as the Red Ranger. And he's in Stranger Things Season 2. Didn't know that till just now, but it clicked as soon as I wrote this news article. Have you seen Stranger Things Season 2?
I'm a couple episodes in. He's like the mullet. Older brother. Yeah, the mullet kid. Yeah, from California.
Yeah, the mullet kid from California with the mustache and the cigarettes. So if I was to describe someone from California, Mike, that's how I do it. But I didn't know it just clicked whenever I wrote this. But he deleted a tweet where he just put a picture of Nightwing and 3 dots.
The classic celebrity casting announcement of just like, I'm gonna Google image search this character I either want to be or I'm cast to be, and just like just tweet it out. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah. So this one of those two, either he wants to do it, but if he wanted to do it, he wouldn't delete it. I think a young actor, probably got the part and then kind of got antsy and just put it online and then was like, "Hey, no, dude,
maybe
you got to take it down." Like,
I know this is not going to be the Nightwing that we're talking about for Titans, right?
Yes, this is a movie universe version.
Yeah, so it's like, when is he supposed to be popping up? I don't know. I don't think you can plan too far forward over there at Warner Brothers until the box office comes out for any given movie.
They've shoved a bunch of characters' names in a hat and they're just drawing them out at this point. Like, what's next? All right, here we go. Black Adam, that's next. No, Black Adam's not next, but they're making some progress on this movie with Adam Steichel, who worked on the show Undateable. I think it was a show.
I vaguely remember that. I think it was like an NBC comedy.
Yes, we'll be scripting the Black Adam movie, and that's that's about what we got for the Black Adam movie. That's the one starring The Rock, which is, I guess, still happening. New Line is the Shazam one. Black Adam's still Warner Brothers. But Shazam is still Warner Brothers as well. I don't know what this is. I don't know what's happening.
Well, it's really weird because we're about to talk about Shazam here. But when I saw some of the Shazam news drop, I saw New Line in that article plenty of times, and DCEU and Warner Brothers. So maybe they're just all going to work together and just mesh it all up.
Yeah. So the Shazam movie is produced, I think, maybe it's produced by Warner Brothers, but distributed by New Line. Might be the way it works. I don't know. New Line has a stake in Shazam. And it still exists in the DC Extended Universe because it's the first movie to be released after Aquaman in a year and several months. Mark Strong, who had a role in Green Lantern as Sinestro, and that didn't turn out very well for him, is in talks to play Dr. Savannah. The new 52 version of this character turns to magic in an attempt to save his family and winds up forming an alliance with the character Black Adam, who is the classic villain of Shazam. One of the actresses, Grace Fulton from Annabelle Creation, has been cast in a mysterious role, possibly the character Mary Marvel. You weren't here last week when we talked about Zachary Levi being cast as Shazam. Any thoughts on that? Well, we're on Shazam.
I mean, he looks a lot like him. I think the question when you cast people to be these giant characters, like start hitting the gym, Zachary, and I think you'll pull it off really well.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. He seems to be excited, I guess. I don't know. I'm like, DC's very, like, I don't know what to make of it, because last week we had the Deathstroke solo movie news that you missed. Like, they're doing a Deathstroke movie, a Nightwing movie, a Shazam movie, a Black Adam movie. What else is in this list? A Joker origin movie. What's going on, Mike? Do we know?
It's just really weird because when we talked about, when we were talking about DC even a year ago on this show, there was a totally different landscape of movies that were coming out, and now it's even different. So how are we even supposed to have opinions on something when there's a chance it might not even matter,
Yeah, it's just give us a release. Like, these are the movies we are in fact working on. Other than that, go away.
It all comes down to the box office.
It does. And the last bit of news, a comic book character, actually, it's a Marvel character at once, now it's back at some other company called Red Sonja. Had a movie in the 80s. I actually own it. That was like a crossover. It had Arnold Schwarzenegger in it as Conan. Millennium Films is fast-tracking a rebooted version of Red Sonja character to the movies. And this is due to the Wonder Woman success earlier this year.
Yeah, I mean, it really makes me wonder, like, okay, Wonder Woman was awesome because it was a good movie and she's a badass, but if you just Google image search Red Sonja, I think there's a reason why she might be popular, and it's because she's wearing, like, a metal bikini, so I think they're going to have to put more clothes on her if we're going to be taking her more seriously as a strong female, because the armor she's wearing is not very practical.
Yeah, it's not, and the movie that from the 80s has like a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, it's not a very good movie by any means. And I'm pretty sure the actress who played Red Sonja, then Bridget Nelson, they had to voice over her whole dialogue because of like, her accent or something like that.
Oh wow!
It was it's a mess of a movie. So I wouldn't recommend it, but like a rebooted version, sure, why not? I mean, it's whatever. They're gonna do it anyway, Mike. We can't stop them. So that's on the docket for upcoming movies that they're making. Mostly because she's naked and well endowed. So.
Well, that's par for the course with Superhero Slate, where the last thing we talk about in news is always something weird and something
large,
bizarre.
Chesty women with swords. That's every episode, Mike. That's how we end them right here. But so that's the end of the news. We got through it. That was a lot of news. So, Mike, people want to find you, see what you're up to. Where can they do that at?
Well, they can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Twitter and Instagram, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to follow you, check out all those pop vinyls you were talking about, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Valdan, Valdan, and I'll put some pops up there. I have a Red Sonja pop right here, Mike, actually. Like, ironically, I have a pop vinyl. Because she was a Marvel character at one point. But you can head over to Comic UI and read that. Find my other show, Filmside Chats, listen to that. YouTube, DNN, Destination Nation. See my videos over there. So check those out. Do it. Come on back. Listen to more Superhero Slate. If this is someone's first episode, Mike, and they want to listen to that Thor Ragnarok review, where can they find that at?
Well, as always, please visit superheroslate.com. That is the best place to find all the avenues we host a show and to get our awesome show notes. Like, we talked about a lot of things on this episode today. If you want to see those links, see some of those photos we talked about, maybe you want to know if time travel is going to be showing up in that fourth Avengers movies and you want to see those photos, just head on over to our show notes and you can check those out. You can find us on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Stitcher. You can subscribe and get us right in your email inbox every week. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and follow us on Instagram. If you want to pick up some merch, you can get that at superheroslate.com/store. You can get t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, so many different things. If you're a fan of the show, please leave us a review. Leave us a like, a rating, a subscribe. I don't know. There's so many different things you can do now on the internet with a podcast. Whatever you can do to it, we like that.
Selfies with your thumbs up. That's what we're looking for.
And if you want to be a super fan of Superhero Slate, very simple. All you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week, sometimes twice. Check that Thor Ragnarok review.
Yes, it's out. It's there. Google search it. Go watch it. Do whatever. And I guess we'll be here. I guess next week's our last week off before the movie review season hits and TV review season hits. So
yeah, that's for sure.
We'll be back with more news next week and then reviews from till the end of time. So I guess we'll catch you guys then.
All right, bye everybody.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.